Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar on Church360 Unite, Customizing Your Theme. Thanks for joining me. My name is Andrew Osborne. I'm a content specialist here at Concordia Technology Solutions. You can see my contact information up there on the screen. I'd love to talk with you about our software and how it can assist you at your church. So any questions you might have, feel free to email me or give me a call. And I'd love talking with you. So there's a few things I'd like to go over before we get started, some housekeeping items. First, this presentation will be about 25 minutes, and at the end we'll be having 5 minutes for questions and answers. You can ask questions throughout the presentation in the chat pane, and I'll get to answering those at the end of the presentation. I won't stop the presentation to answer them just because I'd like to get through all of the things that I have planned, but I'll make sure we have time at the end. And if for some reason I can't get through all the questions or I don't know the answer to them, I'll find out the answer and I'll send you an email with those answers. So make sure you ask your questions throughout the presentation and I'll answer those at the end. And last, the recording will be shared at the end of this webinar. So you'll get an email when we're all finished with the recording, a link to our YouTube, so you can share this presentation with anyone at your church, or you can go back and find answers to see how to do certain things. So yeah, there are a few goals and things I want to get to in this training webinar. I want to talk about the themes and the different presets that are available in those themes. We'll talk about the styles, and those are new, but we'll talk more about that. I want to talk about the Customize tab and the advanced settings, things like headers, scripts, and cloning. So we'll get to all that as we get started, and then we'll get to questions and answers at the end. So let's jump in. Let me pull up my website here. And so this is your home page, and to adjust your theme, you need to be logged in as an administrator. So then let's go up here and we'll click on themes and we can adjust the theme. So you have 10 different themes available to you, and we'll be adding more in the near future. And these themes allow you to have a different looking website while still keeping all of the functionality the same. The biggest difference is the menu bar here, and a lot of the different things like that will look different. So like on this one, Earth Tones, the menu bar will be across the top, whereas vertical, it would be down the side like that. So those are the biggest differences. The themes, will do all of the same different things. They all have the same functionality. They just more look different and feel different. You can change your theme at any time at no additional cost to you. There are some website builders out there that do charge when you want to change your theme. But here at Church360, we know that churches need to change periodically to fit with what's going on in their churches. So from month to month even, you could change to a different theme if you have a different theme that fits what you're doing in your church. So we try to keep that for what works best for our churches so that they can kind of adapt as you go. So next, that's basically everything with the different presets. You could just click on to change a preset. You could just click on the preset and hit apply theme and then exit out of here, and that theme would be applied to your website. To go back, you would just click themes, click on the one you want. So let's do ribbon. Let's do that one. Apply theme, and there we go. So now let's go back to themes and click on styles. Like I said, styles are new, and these help to keep your site kind of consistent. A lot of websites, churches especially, I think sometimes you have a lot of different people working on the website, and each page could look completely different from the rest. So in order to keep a consistent look and feel on your website, we've created styles. So you can go in here and you can adjust each of these and set the heading H1 to a certain look and feel. So this would, over here is the preview. This is what it'll look like in your text. And then you can adjust all of those and you can create your own. So if you wanted to create one, you would go to Add Style, and you can do either block or inline. Block allows you to have different headings. So the headings are like the beginning of the paragraph. You would have those, whereas inline is actually the text, the body text, you might call it. So for now, let's create a block text. And you can either do inherit, so it does the kind of the default font family that you've selected for your website, or you can select one of these many different fonts, and these all come right off of Google Fonts, so you can find any of these there on Google. So for now, let's click Railway. I like that one. And then after that, you would select the font style. And each of the different font families have a different selection here. Railway has quite a few, but some of them, let's see, I think this one only has a couple. Yeah, Pierre 1, or however you say that, only has one style. So let's go with Railway. And for a heading, I like to select a big, heavy font. So we'll do heavy. Font size, these are, EMs are kind of what the standard for web development. An EM is about, one EM is 16 pixels. So that's kind of the basic size for web development. For a header, you'd want to do something a little bigger, maybe 1.75. So that gives you a nice large font to read. You can add a text decoration, like an underline or a line through. We won't do that right now. You can change the color to your text. I'd like a teal green, light blue sort of color, so we'll go with that. You could add a background color if you want. You'd have to find something that looks pretty good there, but we won't do that for now. You can add a margin or a padding to give some room around it. I'll do margin. We'll give it 1. Too far. Above and 1 below. So that gives some space to breathe. And you can also indent using this. So if you wanted a certain look for your text, you could add one over here and it'll indent it in. But for now, we're just going to leave that at 0. Again, padding does the same thing, just in a different spot. And border, you can add a border to the top or bottom or even to the sides of your text. We'll do a bottom border. Oops, too far. Let me go to 1. And you can either have solid, dotted, dashed, or double. We'll do solid, and you can change the color. So I'll select maybe a dark blue. And if you want to, you can increase the size so you can see it better. And there you go. That's our style. So now I would save that style. Oops, first you have to name it. Let's do, I have style 1, so let's do style 2. Save that. And now your style is right there. So if you go to your style tab here, you can select whatever style you would like to use and go from there. All right, so next, let's take a look at the Customize tab. And the Customize tab is something that pretty much anyone who knows anything about using the website can do. It's pretty basic and easy to use. There's all these different color selections here, and each of the themes has different settings here. So this theme, Ribbon, has quite a few different options, whereas if you went to, I think, well, minimal, it's pretty minimal. You apply this theme. Let me refresh just to make sure it pops up there. Now if you go back to Customize, there's quite a few less options to choose from. And these options go along with the different colors, like in your heading here or your selection tools there. So that gives you some flexibility to change the colors of your website without changing the theme. So let me go back to themes here. Let me change to light. I like this theme quite a bit. Hit apply. refresh the page just to make sure it pops up everything. Now if you go back to customize, you'll see that right here we have the name of our church, but if you wanted that to be the logo instead, it's pretty easy to add that in. Under banner, you could hit browse and click your logo. I already have mine uploaded there, so I'll hit save changes and it pops right in there. So that's an easy way to add your logo in. That can be either a JPEG or a PNG. This one is a PNG file format. That way it's has a clear background and you can see behind it. Whereas with a JPEG, it would probably have a white background, so you wouldn't be able to see this background through it. So then you hit Save Changes, and now our logo appears on our website. There's a number of different presets under customization. We won't go through all of them. For the autumn, or let's see, which theme is this? For the light theme, there's not as many different options. There's a few here, but for some of the others, like you saw earlier, there's quite a few. And this allows you to keep the structure of your website while changing some of the options. So you can change the background color, accent color, you can change the font that you use for like your title here before we put in the banner. So now that we've got all that in there, we'll save the changes and it takes us back to here. So we've gone through all of the kind of basic styles and customizations that you can set for your theme, but there are also some advanced settings in these two categories here, advanced and edit. So we'll start with advanced, and this just allows you to add in some custom headers and scripts. So if you have someone in your church who knows how to use HTML or anything like that, they could come in here and do some tweaks to your website through this, adding headers and scripts. But I would assume a lot of churches probably don't have that or may not have access to someone who knows how to do those things. So most churches probably won't have to worry about this section. Again, if you have someone who can do HTML or JavaScript, you can also clone your theme and have full access to the theme file. When you click Edit, you can see that it says that this theme belongs to Church360 Unite. So in order to mess with the theme, you would have to clone it. So we'll do that. We'll clone this theme and we'll just call it Light 2. And once it's finished copying, it'll take us back to this page. So if we click Theme and Edit, now we can go in and we have access to all of the different kind of behind the scenes HTML and JavaScript and all that kind of stuff. So you will go under Style Sheet and you can see your styles. Under Screenshots, you have all these different things. JavaScript, you could adjust the theme here. So there's lots of different things that someone who knows how to do coding can come in and really do the fine-tuning of the website. And you have to be an administrator to get to this area. So not everyone can get to this. You could store your assets in here and all of the different images you use. So there's lots of things you can do with this, and there's lots of ways you could break it if you don't know what you're doing. So it's good to make sure if you're going to do this, you really know what you're doing. So for most churches, the out-of-box things will do just fine. So if we go back to Browse, you can see that your Light theme, Light 2, is now up there, and that's just a clone of Light 1. Now the only downfall to having your cloned themes is they don't get updated automatically when we have new features come out. For instance, we just had the Styles feature come out, and if you had your theme cloned, that wouldn't have happened automatically for you. We had to go in and tweak the clone themes one by one to update them to the styles. So if you want all of the updates to happen automatically without having to call us and have us get into the coding and fix it, having one of the presets selected will give you all of the updates automatically as they occur. And I think that's pretty much everything. It's pretty straightforward. It just takes some playing around with to figure out the controls and how to use the different functions like styles and customizations. But it's a pretty simple process. Oh, I did want to mention, you can have up to, I think it's 75 different styles. So you can add up to 75 different styles. But the only issue is the more styles you add, the slower your website will go. So this font load shows how much weight these styles are putting onto your website. So if you have 75 different styles, your website will probably load pretty slow because it has to read all of those different styles as it's loading. So it's good not only to have fewer styles to make it look better and have a more consistent look to your website, but it also helps your website go faster. So that's a secondary benefit to using styles. All right, so now that we've made it through our presentation, if there's any questions that I can answer, feel free to add them into the chat pane, and I'll see if I can answer them for you. While you're doing that, let me pull up my contact information. Also, we have our blog updates. When we have them, we post them on our blog, our product updates. So if you would like to subscribe to this blog to receive our product updates, all you need to do is go to 360unite.com/blog and hit subscribe, and it'll start sending you information every time we have an update. So it's a good way to see what's changing and what's happening with our software, and the updates to help you be able to use our software even better and fit the needs of your church better. As I'm waiting for questions, you can see my name there and my email address, my phone number. Again, like I said, anytime you have any questions, give me a call or send me an email, and I'd love to help you out. You can also contact our support team, and they're extremely knowledgeable and know far more about the software than I do. So they'd be able to answer anything you could throw at them. If for some reason you stump them, I'm sure that they're pretty good at finding answers. So feel free to contact them as well, and they can answer any question you might have. We do have a question. Is the color picker still available? That's a great question. So when we came out with the new styles update, that removed the functionality of the color picker. So let me go back to the home page and edit so I could show you how this works. So in the past, when you would type in text up in this area, you could change the font and the size and the color all from this area. However, now that we added styles in, to change it, you would just click on the style that you want it to be, and it would update it for you. And that's good because that keeps people from adding in different styles to your website that may not fit with your theme. And this allows people to be able to use the style that you've chosen and have a more consistent tone. So if they're trying to match the home page on their group page, they'd be able to do it a little more easily by finding the style that you used on the home page and just applying that to their page. So great question. Any other questions? I'll give you a few more minutes to think of some. And if you can't think of any right now, feel free to contact me or the support team, and we can answer your questions when you think of them. So I don't see any in the next couple minutes. I suppose we could end a little early. Again, my name is Andrew Osborne. Feel free to email me with any questions you might have. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming to our webinar today. I hope I was able to kind of fill you in on how to customize your theme so that it fits the needs of your church a little better. It gives you consistency throughout your website and allows you to make your theme fit the branding of your church so that it looks nice and professional. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a great day.